Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper, and today I want to address why I have this growing pile of sticks in my yard. I'm going to be composting human shit. But before I turn you off, I wanted to talk with an expert on the topic, just to alleviate any concerns you might have. And the expert is myself from the future. Just downloaded a new app where I can receive video emails from the future. I just received this morning. I've not watched it myself, so we'll watch it together.
Okay, listen, one thing you need to know. Do not do it. Don't do it. It is the worst decision you've ever made in your entire life. I got sick for a month, and this worm the size of a weasel climbed out of my ass, and then it grew, and now it's the size of a bear. It's the size of a bear. It is chasing me.
Okay, not what I was expecting, but, you know, I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm going to try it out anyway. Let's check it out.
I remember the day that it happened. The lights in the sky, the sirens, the moment everything changed. One day you're at the top of the world getting a lap dance from a cartoon stripper. The next, you're eating ashes out of the rib cage of your best friend's burned out corpse. Just to stay alive. Every day now is a struggle. And it all changed in that one instant.
This right here, this is you. This is you.
Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper. If you're over 30, you may remember that back in the late 80s and early 90s, there was a movement, a fashion movement, among the rap and hip-hop community of wearing clocks around their necks. It was a wonderful fashion statement. I think we were all really surprised to see it go. When it first came out, nobody thought it was just going to be a flash in the pan. But it ended up being, and it's too bad that it was, because a clock around your neck isn't just a useful accoutrement if you're a rap or hip-hop artist. It's also a really useful prepping item. And to tell you why, I have a very special way to explain my thoughts on this. All right, yo. I tell you what, fuck this shit, I'm really cold. I want to make a survival fire. Which end do I like? It's kind of creepy in a way because you're sexually messing with the flowers. Would it be more natural if I had porno music playing? Okay, I'm going to add porno music starting now. Alright, well, male parts go into the female parts and get the pollen all over it, and that should do it. I've done this with a couple of other ones, and yeah, it's a little creepy and everything, but you're my twin brother, but we're nothing alike. Come on, get in the car. We gotta get out of here. First, we gotta fill up the car with gas, and then we have to bug out. Well, yeah, I hear you, but the electric grid's down, and the gas stations can't pump without electricity. So, you know, we can't go anywhere because we don't have any gas. Hey, are you brushing your
Huh?
teeth? You gotta take care of those things.
Yeah. I ran out of toothbrushes 2 months ago, so I've been using my finger. It seems to be working all right. Wait a second. Hold on. Ah! A tooth! I lost a tooth! Ah!
Upon entering the room, the doors swing shut and lock behind you, and you find yourself confronted by a Class 300 Hellboy.
Okay. I'll use this magical jewel to double my hit points and increase my speed with this amulet. And I'll use the troll testicle to triple my charisma.
Hold it.
And
I got this one. I'm gonna shoot it in the neck with my rifle.
Well, that'll do it.
I am so cold.
Yeah, well, you should have brought yourself some clothes.
But don't worry. I bought a knife. A survival knife. I'm gonna start us a fire.
Okay. How are we gonna do that?
I don't have any clue.
you know what? You know what? We are done! Alright, yeah. Alright, that's it?
That is it.
You're just gonna drop me like that?
Oh yeah, I can drop you. You're uncomfortable. You don't have enough storage space. And when's the last time I didn't have to work my ass off to get those zippers open?
Oh, so that's what this is all about? The zippers? Well, hey, I told you I had a headache that day.
No. This is not one day. We knew this day was coming for years.
Oh, well, don't think this is some surprise to me. You don't think I noticed for miles and miles you're walking behind other hikers looking at their backpacks? Oh, yeah, I noticed. You think you're just gonna get yourself out there, find some new backpack overnight?
Well, you don't think I could find another backpack? Maybe I have been looking around on Backpack Grinder and Backpack Tinder a little bit. You know, maybe there's something that's caught my eye.
Maybe you just go and check that backpack out then.
Yeah, great, fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Yeah, fine.
See ya.
And just like that, he walks out of my life.
All right. Look. Now, this right here, this is a bean. It's a soybean. All right? It's a okay, yes, it's a soybean. All right? Well, the shit hit the fan 4 weeks ago, and within the first 8 hours, you ate all of our beef jerky. All right? It was a beef jerky frenzy, and it is all gone now, and the only protein that we have left are soybeans. Yeah, exactly. Now, you are hungry, you are starving for nutrition. You need amino acids and protein. Okay, yes. What are you so afraid of? It's a soybean. Dude, I don't want to grow breasts, all right? So you would rather starve to death. You would rather starve to death than eat a soybean. Yeah. Okay, well fine. Well, maybe I will just eat all the soybeans then. And
be
then
my guest.
We can yuck! That's disgusting. Yeah. Why did we stash 80 kilos of these? They're on sale.
Moses, take your shoes off. You are standing on holy ground.
This is getting really intense.
Fathers, Abraham,
Ha! The God of Israel? Ha 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 ha!
Jehovah says, let my people go.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
All the waters of Egypt shall become blood.
Blood? Blood, that's the plague. Blood. That's good organic material. That's good for farming.
How did he do that?
That's not a plague.
The stinking blood waters suddenly produced millions of frogs.
Frogs? Frogs are food. There ain't no plague neither. That's good. I'd eat a frog. I totally eat a frog.
God says, I will send swarms of flies upon Egypt. Your houses shall be filled with flies. But this
Bugs?
I will make
That's disgusting. I am not sitting here watching bugs. Done.
There shall be no flies among my
Hey everybody, and welcome to the live stream related to the Project Homestead series. Amber is going to join us in just a moment. Always right at the last second. She was saying just as she got here, 8 seconds ago, that the light is a little bright. What do you think? I think it looks all right.
Is it?
What do you guys think? Is it too bright?
Is it black and white?
We're going with black and white today. Not for any particular reason other than the fact that earlier today when I was recording the announcement about the live stream, I was thinking, hey, why don't I do it in black and white today? And then the settings on the camera were still in black and white, and I said, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I thought, well, it's Juneteenth. Maybe this could be to commemorate Juneteenth. But I'm kind of thinking that like making it black and white is almost more like of a segregation message than anything, so maybe it's not really an appropriate celebration of Juneteenth. So I think for Juneteenth, we'll just say it's wonderful that as a society we can move forward and improve ourselves, and every day we have an opportunity to be a little bit better than we were before, and that's what Juneteenth is all about, moving forward, progress and everything. And the black and white thing is just because it looked cool. So that's it. So welcome to our Homestead episode. If you are new to this, and I don't know that anyone presently is, I see Mackenzie Drake's here, Morning Light's here, and maybe another mystery person hasn't commented yet. But for people who are watching later, if you're new to this live stream, what we do here is I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have about homestead building, retreat building, or any of that kind of stuff, plus prepping and general questions as well. I also get you guys up to date on what's going on with our project. We've been building a homestead for the past 485 days, I think, at the moment, where we are in the series, about a week behind. I'm a week ahead of you guys in the series, but I think we're like 486 days today that we've been working on it, and things are moving forward, never as fast as you'd like, but that's what the whole series is about, is just sharing with you guys what the process is really like about building your own retreat, building your own homestead kind of location, because there's always irritating delays, there's always global pandemics and flesh-eating bacteria, and horrible things happening to the contractors and everything. Maybe that's just my experience, but I'm like stone-faced for all this. Yeah, so I'm here for you guys. If you have any questions, if you have a dream about building your own homestead, your own, even like simply like kind of a small scale retreat location, it's really accessible, I think, to a lot more people than believe that it's accessible to them. Land can be incredibly expensive, but if you get it in like the wrong area, it can be pretty cheap too. Land gets expensive when it's accessible easily by road, but if you don't care about that, if you just want to have a place that you can bushwhack to in a crisis, or just for camping or wilderness skills kind of training for yourself and your family, you can get land. It's not going to be like 42 cents an acre like the Louisiana Purchase was, but you can get land at a reasonable price, and you can build for really reasonable prices. The last small house that I did at the old homestead was it's like $3,000 to $4,000, and that was like a mini house. I built it as a shed. It didn't even need a permit or anything, and it was a completely self-sufficient house. It was just insulated, better than most people's houses are, and you can get a lot of performance out of not very much. if you're willing to kind of go a little bit on the small side. So hit me up with any questions that you guys may have. Additionally, like I said, I was going to catch you guys up on what's going on. We've got the heart of the homestead that we're building right now just got completed today, and I want to share it with you guys. It's the hearth, the place where the wood stove is in the house, and I really think of that as the heart of the home because it's like, you know, in the winter time, it's where everyone kind of gathers when you want to not be cold. I mean, our house is going to be well insulated, but you know, you come in, you're like chilled to the bone. You can go right up next to a wood stove, and you know, it's really warm and welcoming, and it can just get all the chill out of you. It's a place that it's near the kitchen, so we're going to be cooking, baking, sauteing, you know, all sorts of things are going to be happening there. It's a really important element, I think, in a lot of homes, and I wanted to make sure that ours was inviting and homey, to be, you know, just straight about it. So I want to share that with you guys. We might jump right to that, unless were there any questions right off? Amber's going to be rudely interrupting me, viciously interrupting me anyway, with any questions that you guys might have, because I have a tendency to just kind of go on and on ad infinitum if the space allows. Do we have any questions yet?
Looks like somebody disliked this stream and somebody's wondering why.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of curious. There's like one person out there that dislikes every one of...
How many freaking tea bags do you have in this thing?
We're just doing a tea bag party here. You know, we're just trying to keep it YouTube friendly. Yeah, there's one person that always dislikes all the video. I kind of think that it's probably the same person, because it's just weird. It's like every video there's like a dislike. I mean, it could be anything. It's like I do a video about like, you know, it's great to spend more time with your kids. Dislike. You know, I mean, I don't know. So I mean, someone's got into their head that they dislike my channel, and they don't have anything better to do than to like check in every time I post a video and dislike it. So I don't know. I think the dislikes help the channel as much as the likes. I'm just throwing that out there, you know, to the dislike person. You're helping things, but don't stop. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Just engagement. I think getting people angry is just as good as, you know, having people be happy. Do you have a question?
Solar panels. How do I figure out who has the best product?
Okay. Yeah. You know, the first thing I'm going to do for advice on that is say that there is a wonderful channel that I would highly recommend you go to. It's called Manifestation of Imagination. There's a wonderful host, Reed, there, who's kind of like a new friend of mine, and he is super knowledgeable about all that stuff. So I would definitely say if you want to get into creating your own solar electric system, go to Reed's channel, Manifestation of Imagination, and he's very open to like just, you know, engaging with people. You just ask him a question, and he'll be able to, you know, get you information. I don't want to just leave it at that though, so I'm going to you know, share some of my personal thoughts about it. And my personal thoughts is I bought a lot of different types of solar panels, and the brand names seem to be better. Like, you know, I recently got some Panasonic panels, and those seem to hold together really well. You know, when I've gotten some cheap panels in the past, I've had some problems with them, but that doesn't mean every cheap brand is going to be problematic. In fact, I'd gotten, oh God, I can't remember the name of it. Oh yeah, Renogy. I bought some Renogy panels, and those worked fine for me. I'd also gotten a Renogy inverter. Renogy inverter. I had major problems with that, but the panels were okay. So it's a little bit of a, you know, hit or miss kind of thing. But if you have a specific product line in mind, ask Reed at Manifestation of Imagination, and he can hit you up with the answers. But I think generally you get what you pay for. Do we have another question?
Prescott Caliber Club just hopped in.
Oh, welcome, Ryan. Thank you for joining us. Do you have the bug out cards? I don't know if you can grab those. If you guys, you know, are new to the channel, last Christmas we made a product line called Bug Out. It's a family card game. I think it's pretty fun. I mean, honestly, would I make a card game that I thought was boring? I don't know. I find it enjoyable. It's a way of teaching preparedness skills to, you know, young people or just, you know, family members and everything. It's a fun kind of game. It's kind of like camping based, so it's not like terrifying people. Although in the picture on the cover, you can't see it in the video, but I'll just annotate it. There's like two people walking. They have smiles on their faces. But there's a city burning in the background. So it's like kind of like, it's fun bugging out. And if you want to get a copy of your own, it is available at Ryan's website at PrescottCaliberClub.something.
Ryan, you can fill him in on that. Ryan at Prescott Caliber Club is also PCC is the official sponsor in the United States of this card game, and I think he'd like to move some copies because I sent him a lot of them. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'd like to go to an update on what we're doing to show you guys the hearth, the heart of our place. Do we have anything else?
Somebody said they missed it. Is Manifestation of Imagination on YouTube? But yes, as far as I know, they are.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry, I was unclear about that. Yeah, it's a YouTube channel, Manifestation of Imagination, and he does all sorts of DIY stuff. He knows lots about electronic stuff, solar stuff, arc welding. I'm probably going to say a few things that he doesn't actually know very much about if I keep going on about it. But he's just a really knowledgeable guy. He's like, some people just get called MacGyver, and I think MacGyver would work for him, I would think. You don't know. I'm looking at you, so you got to confirm it. You just nod and say like, "Oh yeah, totally." Totes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's go to a clip of what we've been having go on at the site today. In particular, River, my boy, makes a pretty clear appearance in this video, and he's not just running away out of the side of the camera. So if you have any questions, write them down during the video. I'm going to write them down, and I'll answer your questions when we come back.
All right, so here we are on site, and there was a request made to see the inside of this shed now that it's pretty much finished. So let's pop in here, and you can see we've got some metal racks here, and we're really just starting to fill everything up on both sides. Up in the top, we're making full use of the entire loft area there. It's just filled from one side all the way to the other, and I can pop up the ladder here. And this is not organized. This is just stuff packed in, and we'll go through it later and figure out what's what. So yeah, this is a space. It's nice. It's a nice space, and it could be used as a small house, but right now it's just being used to kind of help us transition into this space. Down in the basement here, I'm gonna kind of flip over on this side. We're also using some of the basement area down here, and this is just more stuff that is okay being in a humid environment. Anything that needed to be dry is upstairs, and anything that could be down here, plastic toys, stuff like that, is all down here. Here are the pass-throughs from the house. So let's hop out of here, and I'll show you what's going on in the house. And there is a lot happening in the house right now. I'm gonna just mention we've got the trench here. It's partially filled in. We've got insulating foam under there, and I'm gonna kind of leave it in this state because I might like to add some more insulating foam, but I'm gonna wait to see how much scrap I have left over from the greenhouse build, because I just want to use up all these panels that I can, or that I need to, on the greenhouse, and then whatever is left, we'll just lay in here. I want to just show you what's been going on over here. We've been using the root cellar as another storage area. It's a nice little area over here. It's kind of pretty. But we've got a hasp here, and obviously there's no security at the moment. And in here, we've also got some storage happening in here. Some extra shelves, and this is a lot of mason jars, things for canning we're keeping in here. But it's just kind of a hodgepodge of anything that doesn't mind being a little humid, or in this case cold. This here is a wall of jugs that I'd collected. These are all just free from the grocery store. These had things like olive oil in them or detergent in them, and I just grabbed them from the grocery store, from the bulk department. They were getting rid of them, and these would be great if you fill these up with water. If you ever needed to use this space as a fallout shelter, now, there's some windows for the greenhouse there too. The weak point is this door and hallway over here. But if we could take some of those barrels, or those kind of jugs, and stack them on this step, you could make a wall or two of water right there. And water is a pretty good radiation blocker. So that's kind of why I'm keeping those guys in here. Let's get this closed up, and we'll head right on into the house. All right, River, we're going to head over into the house, okay? River was actually helping me quite a bit with the project I'm going to show you once we get in. In order to get the wood stove going, we need to get the chimney stack in, and in order to get all of that together, I really need to get the hearth going so that we have a hearth for setting the wood stove down upon and everything. So that's what I've been working on. We've got these bricks here that my dad had all these spare bricks he'd been storing for a while, and he was really generous to share them with me, though he for his part he gets free and open space, which I think is kind of valuable too. But I definitely got the better end of the deal, and I appreciate him having given them to us. And this is what we've been using them for. This is the spot. Actually, River, do you want to pull the plastic away? This is a spot right underneath where the chimney pipe comes down. Yeah, you can just pull it right through there. It'll be fine. So kind of sticky. It won't wreck anything if you pull hard. There we go, and there's the grand reveal. Thanks, River. We've got the plastic over the bricks to try to slow the curing process, because again, when you're working with cement and concrete, you are not, remember, don't walk on them, you are not letting it dry to harden, you're letting it cure to harden. It's a chemical process, and the slower that process can happen with keeping it moist, the harder your final concrete's going to be. So these are the bricks from outside, and they're antique-looking bricks, and I like that look. I think it's really, really pretty. We've got some cuts in them where we use the diamond saw to do some angled cuts here, and then where they kind of terminate at the ends over here. And you'll notice that underneath them is plastic. And the reason I put the plastic down is actually a couple reasons. One of them is that I like to kind of keep things modular and keep my options open. Like, let's say for some reason this bricks, something horrible happens with them that I can't even imagine. Maybe every one is actually an egg from a bird flu infected clown zombie or something. Like, who knows what could happen? What do you think of that idea? You don't like that idea, okay. But who knows what might happen with these bricks. Maybe someday I want to replace them. And if I do want to replace them, if I put the concrete right down on my concrete floor, they'd be stuck there. I mean, I guess I could jackhammer them off or something like that, but it would make a terrible mess. It'd be really difficult. So one reason I have the plastic there is because it just makes it easier to change later on. If I, for some reason change my mind and decide I don't want them there anymore. The other reason that I have the plastic there is because this is going to be under the wood stove, and because it's under the wood stove is going to heat up the bricks, and the bricks are going to want to expand, and the floor is also going to want to expand. But who knows? Maybe they're not expanding at exactly the same rate. Different materials have different thermal expansion coefficients, which just means that they change size at a different speed, based on different temperatures. So the fact that I put the plastic there is kind of a break. So if the bricks want to expand a little faster than the floor, they're going to be allowed to do that, and they're going to be allowed to do that without cracking the floor underneath. So those are the two reasons that I put the plastic down, just for versatility and also to try to avoid any kind of thermal expansion issues. So that is the big thing that I've been working on, is trying to get this thing done, because once this is set, I can work on the stonework behind. As you can see, the stonework's going to sit right down on the bricks here. So I've got to finish the bricks before I can do the stonework. I don't have to do the stonework before we install the stove, but you can imagine it's going to be a heck of a lot easier working on those stones if there's not a big stove here. So I'm going to work on both, but if I can at least get these bricks ready, then we can talk to someone about doing this run here with the stovepipe all the way to the top. There is a local wood stove installation company, and I am talking to them. If there were no rules and no laws in it or whatever, I could totally just buy the materials and put this up myself, and I would do a really beautiful job of it, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But there are just so many rules, regarding like proximity, and you need clearances and all this kind of stuff. And I just want to, kind of put that onto someone else's shoulders. Just all the conflicting rules that go into this. So I'm going to be hiring them so that they can just be like, okay, this is what you need for distances, this is what you need for clearances, and maybe I do some of the install myself, but I at least want their expertise about what's legal, what's not legal, because I know that what's common sense safe is not at all the same as what's legal in this case. So I just want someone here that can tell me what these distances need to be when I'm putting in this. So that's the big stuff that's going on right now, and right after this we're going to be getting to electrical, and I'll be sure to share that with you guys too. Let's go back to the live stream.
Like, so as you guys can see, it is coming along, but there's still a long way to go. That's something that I've been feeling a lot. I think the past week or so. Maybe prior to that, I was feeling like a lot of energy. You know, we just finished a shed, and we've been moving a lot of stuff out of this location into the next. You know, I don't see the steps in the process of moving necessarily having to be regimented, linear. You do this, and then you do that, and then you do the next step. I mean, sometimes that makes sense. Like when you're doing the wood stove hearth, I had to do the bricks before I could do the rock above. Although not technically, I guess I could have done some of the rocks above, and then you know. That's a really bad example. But, you know, some things make sense to do in a certain order, and other things, you know, don't necessarily. Wiping your butt after you poop.
What?
Wiping your butt. You don't wipe your butt and then poop. You poop and wipe your butt. That's, so, yeah. So, you know, some things make sense. They have to be done in order. But what I've been trying to do is, while we're building, we are moving stuff into the house. And you can't necessarily always do that. In order to get, at least around here, to get your occupancy permit, the building inspector needs to go through. And they kind of, I've been told they kind of don't favor the idea of people looking like they're kind of already moving into the house before they've been, you know, given like a green light that they can have their occupancy permit. So you can't necessarily be putting a lot of stuff into the house, but that was one of the great things about the shed, as you guys saw at the beginning of the video. We're starting to fill up the shed with things from here, so I'm kind of hoping that we can get this place down to kind of a skeleton crew, and then as soon as we are ready to move in, it's just kind of like, you know, just throw my backpack on my back, and that's the last thing, and we're done. So, you know, we've been doing the moving process. Every single day that I go over there, I'm filling up the car with stuff and bringing it over, and, you know, I mean, it's got to be scores and scores of trips. But, you know, I'm just doing them every day when I was going to be driving over anyway, so I'm getting more done out of each trip. And you know, we're getting some stuff done instead of having to, you know, wait for later. So anyway, that's a long way of saying that as soon as I finished a shed, I was feeling great. You know, it's like the shed's done, and then the solar hot water people came in, they're installing their stuff. And then it was finally time to kind of turn my sights back to the house, and I kind of started realizing how much is left to do in the house. You know, it's electrical, and it's finishing up the plumbing, and putting on the outside boards, which have to be done after the electrical goes up, because the inspector needs to be able to see the wires, and they do go on the outside of the thing. Again, one of those things you have to do in a certain order. But yeah, this week I've been kind of, I don't know, a little bit down about, you know, just feeling like, you know, there's still a lot left. So it was kind of a nice pick-me-up for me to do that hearth, because it was something that was done really well, you know, with all the contractors coming in. It's been kind of, I don't know, it's difficult for me to have people come in and be paying them a lot of money to do something that I could do myself, and they do a worse job of it than I would. And it's just, I legally am not allowed to do the work well myself. And that's been, you know, between that and, you know, just everything, it's been, you know, I want to be honest with you guys, when, you know, it's not all peak moments. And this week's been kind of like, you know, I just keep asking myself, I said in one of the episodes, earlier in the season, I probably mentioned it a couple times, like whenever I'm feeling like that, I'm just like, okay, what's the best thing that you could be doing right now to, you know, get yourself closer to your goals? And I think about what that is, and then I just do it, you know, and it's like I don't worry whether I'm down or bummed or whatever. And I think that's a good kind of mantra, not just for building a house, but just life in general. It's like, okay, I'm not in a great situation. What's the best thing I can do now to improve things? So I've been doing that a few times this week, but it felt really nice to get the hearth in, because that was something, it was, you know, it's done, not to pat myself on the back, you know, it's just because I've had a lot of practice with it, and I took the time with it, and, you know, it was done well. You know, if a contractor had gone in there, they might have just, like, you know, thrown a little bit of concrete down, or maybe not even put any concrete down underneath the bricks, and just kind of put some concrete between them, and did the bare minimum they could have done to get by. But I had like a nice bed of concrete. Everything is like really settled down in there. That thing is just, it's bedrock there, and that felt really, really nice to have that in there. So, you know, it's ups and there's downs when you're doing this kind of a process. And if you guys ever get into this yourself, you know, you have to anticipate that. I know that Ryan from Prescott Caliber Club, if he's still with us, is he still with us? Yeah, okay, I think so. You know, he's been having a lot of, you know, challenges getting his storefront going. You know, just, you know, whenever you have this kind of stuff, it's just, you know, it's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth doing, because why you...
I'm sorry.
What's going on?
Somebody just complimented me, and I'm feeling all weird now.
Ooh, I will verbalize the compliment.
Oh, stop.
Okay, so you want me to read it because you pointed it out. Okay. Okay, well, you guys can read the comments on your own anyway. Okay. So, yeah, there's ups and there's downs, and that's just the nature of it. But, if you start small, with a small house, I think that there's a lot less of the downs. That's one of the things, if you can do something, honestly, that doesn't require a building permit. I'm not going to advocate that anybody break any laws, but there are structures that you can build that don't even require a building permit. You don't have to be shady about it or anything. The shed that you guys saw, it's 140 square feet, and I went to get a building permit on it because I just figured it's like, it's a shed. I think you need like a building permit to replace a window in this town. Literally, if a window breaks, technically I need a permit. I need a permit to change the window out. So I'm like, well, I'm going to build a shed. I probably need a permit. But they were like, oh no, it's under 150 feet, 150 square feet, so you don't need a permit. So depending on where you're building, you may not need a permit at all. And you shouldn't take that as a license to do, crappy work. That is licensed to, do your best job and not worry about, people, looking over your shoulder. If you don't have a lot of experience with it,
breathing down your
neck, yeah. If you don't have a lot of experience with it, definitely ask people who've done it before, ask advice from people. That's what this is for, ask questions. We haven't had a lot of questions today. That can be really valuable. And I don't know, just speaking for myself, anyone that's built their own house before is really happy to talk about it with you. I mean, because it's a way of, like, whenever I'm talking about, like, the first homestead that I built, or the one that I'm presently working on, all the awful stuff, it's like when you're recollecting it, it's kind of like what's the quote about comedy? It's like anything's comedy if it happened to someone else.
Something like that.
So, I mean, when you're recounting your past, it's almost like all the horrible things happen to someone else. So it's like, it's just enjoyable. It's almost cathartic to kind of go through it. So if you know someone that has built their own house, chances are they're going to be really interested in talking with you, because it's just fun for them to kind of, remember the process, and then they kind of gloss over all the awful parts. And, definitely don't hesitate to ask people about that, and including me. You've got me, even not during a live stream, you can always hit me up with an email at praxisprepper@gmail.com, I think it is. You can always hit me up with a question or something like that, and I'll do my best to get back to you about that. We've got about 3 minutes. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? Or we don't have time for comments, but a question.
Yeah, I haven't seen any questions in a little bit.
No. Honestly, how many tea bags is this? 3? It's like 9. It's like 9 tea bags. I just haven't. I know I've mentioned this in a bunch of these live streams before, but like what I generally do is I'll make steep a cup of, I don't want to use the wrong word. I'll steep a cup of tea, and that has the caffeine in it in the morning, but I'll save the tea bag on a little hook, and then you can use it later in the evening, and the caffeine all goes out in the first brewing or steeping or whatever. So I can have this at night, and there's no caffeine in it, which is kind of nice. Though
there's so many.
Yeah, though you obviously have to put a few more tea bags in to get the same level of flavor. You don't need 9 though. 3 or 4 is probably fine.
You just sort of you felt like going crazy tonight.
I just had a bunch, and I wanted it to be a conversation piece in case things were slow. Things have been slow, so we used it. And I guess that's about it. Want to wrap this one up early tonight? We could go late sometimes.
Oh, there's a question.
Okay, one question, and then we'll be out. What is it?
If you're doing solar, what kind of storage bank are you using? If not, why not?
Okay. If I'm doing solar, I'm not sure how to interpret the if not, why not. If I'm not doing solar, why not? That's a good question. Or if I'm not doing a storage solution, why not? Okay, anyway. Yeah, we are doing solar. I've already pre-bought the panels. As soon as I saw the pandemic coming, I went on a kind of a buying frenzy of anything that I knew that was coming from anywhere in Asia. I just put in orders like back in January. I was like, I just do not want the supply chains to lock up and not be able to get stuff. And a lot of supply chains did lock up. In fact, one thing I put in an order in January, and we just got it like just a couple of weeks ago. So it took several months to get through. So yeah, I did get the solar panels, and we are going to be doing batteries with the system. I had thought about doing a grid-tied system. There are benefits to doing grid-tied system because, well, the house we're in right now has a grid-tied system. The downside of the grid-tied system, that's only grid-tied, is that when the power goes out, you got lots of solar panels on your roof and no access to the power that they generate. And on top of that, normally the solar power from your panels is going out to the grid and you're getting paid for it. You don't even get paid for it. So it's like, it's kind of frustrating. It's like you have a blackout, the power company ceases to provide their service, and on top of that, they cease to pay you for the service that you're continuing to provide them. It's just kind of frustrating.
So wouldn't it make sense to just stay off grid then? So
Yeah.
I can avoid.
Well, yeah. At our next place, what we are doing is we are on grid while we build, and I think I'm going to do kind of a tandem system. I'm going to, have everything kind of on grid, and then I'm going to get the panels up and start taking things off the grid and putting them just on the panels and see how much I can load onto the panels. I want to have like the basic essentials, lighting, refrigerator on there, well pump running off of the solar panels, like all that basic stuff. And then see how much we can, generally kind of load onto it. The type of batteries that we're using are called lithium iron, I believe, not ion, iron, as in like ferium, Fe, on the periodic table. I don't know much about them yet. I just know that they were a little bit more expensive, but they are supposed to be able to do a lot more cycles. They also don't off-gas hydrogen, so you don't have to do the venting with them, which is like a whole thing where you gotta like make it like almost like a little mini room and vent the hydrogen that comes off of the lead acid batteries, which in itself I think is kind of stupid, to be really frank about it, because they require people to make their houses have these air exchangers that exchange so much air that, I mean, you could like be running your car in your house, and I guess a lot of people have attached garages, so that's what they're worried about. But you could like literally be running your car in your house, and everyone would be fine. It's like they require so much air to be changed over. So like the idea that they force people to have these really like intense air exchangers and then are worried about a tiny little trickle of hydrogen that comes out of these batteries, I think it's kind of silly. But anyway, I didn't want to build the box. I went around it. We went with lithium iron. I'll let you know as things go how they turn out. Lithium batteries tend to be lighter than lead acid batteries, but that said, they were really freaking heavy. They came 2 batteries. And I don't know if you guys have been watching the series. I have an episode where I had to move them all by myself, and I used the Rapa Nui technique of walking the Moa statues. Although I don't know if that's the way they actually did it. It's one theory about how the Rapa Nui people on Easter Island might have moved those. So was there one other question? I guess we could squeeze one in.
So I'm more curious about the storage bank than anything. They're so expensive, but I'm playing with Gold Zero expansion tanks. Energy has some cool storage too. I have grid-tied system and small standalone. I found a home integration kit that allows you to plug a generator into the house and run a few chosen breakers. Okay, yeah, I get what you're getting at. I've used Gold Zero stuff in the past too. Gold Zero is there's good and bad parts of Gold Zero. The thing that I love about Gold Zero is it makes it really easy for all of us. Gold Zero was my kind of gateway drug to solar stuff because it is just, I mean, it's so plug and play. You plug the thing in. In fact, when you guys saw the basement shot of the basement of the shed, that little glowing blue light back in the corner, that is the Gold Zero old 400 lead battery little power station. So I've got Gold Zero stuff. I have their massive, their big one that they sell. I forget what that one's called, like 1400 or whatever. I had that one that kind of got things going. We could run the refrigerator off that. I've got the 400 one, and I've got a lot of their little stuff. In fact, in my everyday carry pack, I've got their open fold-out panels that can charge AA batteries, and I use those all the time. Like my flashlight runs out of batteries or whatever. I've always got freshies ready to go in. So I started with Gold Zero stuff. Also, all the solar panels that we've got outside that are running our refrigerator right now, they're all Gold Zero panels on Gold Zero stands. There's a lot of pros to that company. The one con of the whole thing, well, maybe there's other cons, but the big one is price. It's really expensive as compared to what you would have to spend if you buy some of the stuff that's a little bit more difficult to set up. I'm not going to knock Gold Zero because it's a great way to kind of begin, but I think once you get used to kind of goal zero, it's good to explore other things and kind of graduate to the the more DIY systems and everything. So what you're looking to do is you want to set up something where you can kind of run some basic systems off of your solar panels or whatever you've got. And the way that I do that here to run the refrigerator is I have 10 deep cycle lead acid batteries, and I've got them run in parallel and in series. I've got two 12 volts run in series together to make 24 volts, and then I've got, multiply that by 5 because I've got 10. So there's like 2, you get the idea. And that runs into an inverter, and that powers the refrigerator. That works pretty well. We get a lot of power off of that. I know that you're over in Arizona, so you've got really great access to sun. The kind of the bottleneck of our system is actually the Goal Zero panels that we have outside. We've got a few Goal Zero panels, I think about 700 watts worth of them. But, I'm here in New England. There's trees everywhere. They're shaded a lot of times of the day. It all goes through this tiny little wire into the house, so there's some voltage drop along that line. But I think if someone wanted a basic system, if you started with 10 deep cycle batteries, get them kind of run either for a 12 volt system or a 24 volt system. I kind of like keeping the voltage down around 10, 12 or 24, once you start getting like to the higher voltage systems, you get efficiencies where you don't have to have as beefy of a cable to connect things, but you can also kill yourself because, it's high voltage, So I kind of like the idea that it's like I can touch the batteries and I don't have to like be terrified of them. So I kind of keep it down at 24 volts. But, obviously there are some advantages of running at the higher voltages in terms of cost saving on wires and things. But yeah, that would be a basic system, is get yourself a number of deep cycle batteries, get good low gauge, I forget whether it's low or high, the thick gauge cables. Like I use gauge 1, or I think one of my cables is gauge 0, to get all the batteries kind of connected together. And then what you want to do is you want to run those into your charge controller and get a good charge controller. There's lots of good charge controllers out there. I think right now I'm an Eversource. I might be using an Eversource. If that's even no, that's an electric company. Hit me up with a private email. I'll let you know the one I'm using. But Morningstar makes great stuff. Anything from Morningstar is really good stuff. We got one more question.
Yeah. Any experience with wind power? I have a good turbine, but never set it up yet.
Yeah, no, I almost did wind power, and I didn't. I ended up not doing wind power for kind of a weird reason. I found a wind tower that someone was selling. I bought it for $300. It was on the side of the road. And I think it was 50 feet with another 20-foot long boom pole, and you could put like a small wind turbine up at the top of it. And I set it in the ground with like when I do things, I like to do them right from the ground up. And I think I mentioned that earlier. When I'm making my hearth, it's like a nice bed of concrete and everything. Do it right. When I set up this tower foundation, I took 4-foot long steel poles, and I drove them into 4 feet of concrete that was about like a foot plus thick. So there were these 3 posts sticking up out of the ground that were anchored 4 feet down with huge amounts of concrete around them. Got the thing right up next to the house so that I could actually give it further reinforcement by kind of attaching it up to the frame of the house, so that if there was ever any like wiggle or anything like that, it would get rid of that. And I started setting that up, and then later on I was trying to get insurance, and the insurance company said that they said they could not. I interpreted it as they would not insure the house if I had that wind turbine tower next to it, because the risk was that in a high windstorm, the tower would be blown over onto the house and destroy the house, which is completely ridiculous, because the tower is like a scaffold skeleton that wind just goes right through. If you got enough wind to actually grab onto that tower, the house is already gone. Like the house wouldn't be there anymore at that point. So it was just kind of absurd, but I wasn't going to have an argument with the insurance company, and I was just like, okay, what do I have to do? And they said, well, if you could just dismantle it below the level of the roof, then you'll be totally safe. So so I did that, and I just never put the thing back up. So I never got into wind power. Here in New England, wind power is a little bit more difficult for an individual. We have a lot of examples, beautiful examples, if you ask me. I always think it's great when you see another wind turbine, because it's like, that's just so much more beautiful than another smokestack or from a coal power plant. Nothing against coal, other than like the human death toll and environmental toll and everything. Other than that, nothing against coal. It's a wonderful fuel source that's like cutting edge and new age, according to or not new age, like new high tech, according to a commercial I saw recently. But I think wind turbines are beautiful whenever I see them, and we have them sometimes in New England, like up on the tops of hills. Doing large scale wind here in New England, I think makes sense. But for the small scale people, I don't know how much sense it really makes. It was going to be more of an experiment project for me because we're all down like below the tree line, and there's hills and stuff, and the hills just create turbulence in the wind. And for good wind power, you want open areas that have nice, consistent movement of air, not this like chop. It's like if you're going to go surfing, you don't want to be in a place where the waves are all like that. People might be like, "Wow, it's great! Look at all those waves." It's like you want like nice, consistent movement and a nice wave to catch. I've never surfed before. I don't know the terms. I don't know if you guys have already picked up on that. So, so I haven't done it yet. Well, it's getting pretty late. If you got any other questions, obviously, Ryan, please feel free to hit me up through email or call me if we can ever get in touch with each other. We're both kind of busy. And I guess that's it. Are we good?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. It's always fun for me to do this. I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing for about 40 minutes while I sit sweating in my boxer shorts. I'm doing the newscaster thing right now. I'm just in my boxer shorts. But I always enjoy you guys' questions, and it makes me think about what's really important in the process when I hear what you guys are thinking about. So it always gets me to refocus on my own project when I hear your own questions as well. So that's it. Thanks for joining us.
This episode has been brought to you in part by Prescott Caliber Club and Jeske Defense Strategies. Prescott Caliber Club is a federally licensed firearm manufacturer and retail store specializing in firearms, survival gear, and producing great online content. If you want to thank them for supporting this channel, go check them out at PrescottCalClub.com. Please subscribe and tune in every Friday at 4:30 New York time for a new video. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can do so both through Patreon or PayPal.